here are the 4 mistakes that mortgage pros must avoid when running ads. Let's get into it. So if you're a mortgage broker who's struggling with lead generation, maybe you're relying on referrals in your sphere of influence, but looking to expand and actually have a reliable way to have top of the funnel new leads coming into your ecosystem, then you're going to love this video. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to address the mistakes that most mortgage pros or agencies or whoever you go to that's running ads, they tend to struggle with, that's limiting their success. So, maybe you've heard that ads don't work, or maybe you even tried it and you had disappointing results. Well, it's not entirely your fault. There are a few key mistakes that people tend to make when running these ads that limits the number of deals that they're closing. Let's get into it. So this system that I'm going to bring up is going to help you close a minimum of 3 to 5 deals per month. And that's guaranteed if you follow and implement and avoid these mistakes that I'm going to get into. So let's get into it. So this is how you know you have a bad strategy, right? So if you've tried running ads before and you say that they lead to low quality leads or they just don't pick up the phone, is that necessarily the Facebook or whatever ad platform, or is it a symptom of a bad strategy? I want you to think about that for a second, because if other people are able to have success, then it's not necessarily the advertising mechanism. You can't blame Facebook if your strategy is off, right? It makes entire sense. If you're playing basketball and you miss all your shots, is it the rim's fault, or is it the fact that you don't know how to shoot, right? So that's why I got this analogy right here. So let's get into it. So do ads work? Well, you might be asking that. Let's look at the data. So in 2022, Facebook generated $113 billion in revenue, in advertising dollars. So you tell me if it works. Is something that doesn't work going to generate 10 millions of dollars per month? Of course not. So, the issue is more so strategy. And when you're able to avoid some of the pitfalls that I've been seeing, you'll see that you'll be able to get a lot of predictable success. So, because most mortgage pros, I'm going to be completely honest, they don't do any marketing. Most mortgage pros don't do any marketing. They rely on referrals, and a lot of them are late to the game of doing advertising by themselves. And so, as a result, they're doing mistakes. A lot of these agencies, they're taking shortcuts, and they're not solving the additional hurdles that come once you get these leads. There's a lot of different layers that most people aren't prepared for. So that's what I'm going to dive into. But as soon as you get this dialed in, this process, there's literally no competition. Because like I said, most mortgage pros aren't running ads. Most of them aren't. Most of them aren't doing any sort of marketing at all, right? So it really just, the money is going to go to the people that have systems that work. So here are the 4 mistakes that I see. Let's just dive into it. So the first one is your expectations. The second is communication with the leads. The third one is where you gather your leads. And the fourth one is just straight up poor ads, weak, poor ads. I'm going to dive into each of these in a little more detail and exactly how you can solve these problems, right? So the first one is unrealistic expectations. So expecting cold leads from ads to convert at the same rate as a hot referral is ridiculous. It's because most mortgage pros, like I said, they don't do any advertising or marketing. They just rely on their sphere of influence and referrals. And they think if they're able to convert a referral at 90%, they should convert their leads coming from Facebook at a maybe not 90, but maybe 50%. Well, that's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. These are cold leads that you're speaking to. You need a sales process to nurture, engage, and build trust with your leads. Unfortunately, like I said, most mortgage pros don't have the systems to nurture, engage, and build trust because they've never had to before. And that's why when they say these ads don't work or whatnot, no, the truth is your process is terrible. You're speaking with cold leads. right? So oftentimes what I see is the unrealistic expectations, they lead to poor business decisions and a lack of like nurturing and whatnot. That's number one. The second thing I want to dive into is the contact, right? So because most mortgage pros, like I said, are used to like hot referrals, many don't have systems for cold leads. So oftentimes what I see is that they have slow response time, inconsistent follow-ups, and as a result, lost potential. So what do I mean by slow response time? So the thing is, when you have a new lead, it's very, very, very important to contact them as soon as possible. You see, the issue is the longer that it takes for you to contact that initial lead, the colder and colder and colder it becomes. Because the truth is, you're not going to be the only person running ads. You're not. That lead that you just got, they might be sent over another competitor's advertising, and they might become a lead for them. At that point, you're now competing. Granted, you're not going to be competing at the same scale of like buying leads from like Lending Tree or anything, but it's still competition. So it's very important for you to be contacting them ASAP. That's something that I don't see. There's studies that show that if you contact the lead within 5 minutes of them opting in or you collecting that data, your chances of converting them, but compared to say if you contacted them like 3 days out or maybe like the next day, it skyrockets by like over 100%. I mean, I forget the number off the top of my head, but it skyrockets. And so what I see is that typically most people are delaying their lead follow-ups, things of that nature. I mean, it's not a good thing to do. It's because, like I said, most people don't have systems installed in order to cater to that volume and have consistent follow-ups. Like I said, the next thing is inconsistent follow-ups, right? You need to be calling these people for at least a 2 week period. You might not get a hold of them on the first time you call them. That's normal. People are busy. But how often are you following up with these people? That's missed opportunity. Yeah, eventually it's just lost potential. You just wasted money on a lead that could have converted, but you didn't because you didn't contact them enough times to follow up or you didn't respond to them. You know. So the next thing that I want to get into is the mechanism that you use to collect your leads data. So typically for people that are running Facebook and Instagram ads, what I see is that they're using lead forms. So if you don't know what that is, just look at the screen right here. This is a lead form. You see there's an ad right here, and then this is the form that collects your data, right? I'm sure you guys have been through this before. You guys know the process. You click learn more, collects your data, and that's it. And then technically they're a lead. But the issue is there's not much filtering that you can do through this mechanism of collecting data. And the reason is because of discriminatory reasons. So, as you guys know, in the mortgage industry, there's a lot of laws against discrimination. And so the thing is, Facebook doesn't want you to discriminate against people who are maybe have lower income, come from certain areas. So you can't really ask the questions in order to determine if somebody's actually qualified. So I'm sure most of you guys have been through this process before. You just click on this learn more button, and then afterwards, Facebook, Instagram collects your data, and then it goes to whoever was running this ad. And so this is what I see a lot of like different agencies or people are doing. I mean, it's not bad. The issue is you're not able to qualify people and ensure that there's intent. Because any random person can just click learn more on $1 million home, $500,000. They have $50 in the bank. Is that person really a lead? No, they're not. Of course not. And so what you want to do instead is ask the right questions to gauge whether or not they're a right fit for whatever you have to offer. Only then, if they pass all the tests, they be considered a lead. Otherwise, you're wasting your efforts and time, money on people that will never convert, that you can never help. I'm sure most people don't want to waste their time. So I'm going to dive into what you can do to actually avoid this issue and still get leads who are actually qualified. So I'm going to dive into that. But before that, the next problem that I see is ad creation. So the thing is, like, you have to understand that I'm going to say throughout this whole process, from I'd say like the ad itself is responsible for about like at least 50%, 50% of everything. It's a good majority of like importance wise in your sales process. So the thing is, you need to be testing every day new ad creatives, because what worked yesterday might not work tomorrow. And like what I've seen is that people aren't testing enough. They're missing different opportunities. You can always improve. You need to always be testing, and you don't have to burn through like millions of dollars. No, a $1 test can give you a lot of data. Like a few $5, $10 can give you a lot of data on what's working and where you need to move forward. You see, and then on top of that, what I see is like poor ad copy. I mean, that's all part of the ad, and like wrong targeting, people who's failing to target the right audiences and things of that nature. Right? I mean, we'll dive into that. So the first thing that you have to do is set realistic expectations. Like I said, your leads coming from Facebook, Instagram, they're never, or Google, whatever advertising platform you use, will never convert as high as a referral. Never. And I mean, it's for obvious reasons. They don't know you, they don't trust you. So those are some things that you have to earn. So obviously, depending on your state or province, there might be more people with intent. Therefore, your conversions are going to be a lot better. Same thing with like the type of leads that you're trying to attract. You're looking for like purchase, refinance, and veteran leads through these ad platforms. They're all going to have a different range of like different conversions. You see, just because these people, they have different levels of intent. So like obviously a refinance is gonna, you'll be able to get our ROI a lot faster, and the conversions are going to be a lot better compared to like a purchase where people are just like trying to look around and see what they can do and whatnot. So the last thing, the most important thing that affects like your conversions is going to be your skill level at running ads, nurturing, and follow up. So that's like your sales process and your skill level at executing those things. And if you don't know how to sell, if you don't know how to sell to cold leads, you'll never be able to get a return on investment. Because like sometimes I speak to people who've just just got their license or whatever, and they want to run ads, and I'm telling you, man, I don't think that's a good thing for you. I don't think you'll be able to convert because you don't have the skill set. You see, so that's why I typically like to work with people that have skin in the game. They've been doing this for years, because typically I can get better results for them because they know what they're doing. No, I'm not a mortgage pro. I know how to get you leads and qualified and build up your sales process. I can't close for you. That's something that you have to do. On that note, you should expect a 4 to 8% conversion rate once you have all your systems and everything dialed in. So, building effective systems. So, this is one of the most important things, like I said. So, you want to warm up your leads. You want to implement strategies to nurture cold leads into warm prospects and bring them down that funnel so they know, like, and trust you and want to do business with you. You should also use a CRM to ensure that you're organized and you're treating people in the right manner depending on where they are on your sales process. So things you want to include and have are different case studies, text messages, reminders, emails, phone calls, automations, anything that you can do to provide value and show how you can help them and build trust. It's very important because they're cold leads. They're cold leads. You have to stick out. It's not the same as a referral. The next thing, you want to decrease the speed to lead. And what that means is that you want to decrease the time it takes to contact that lead. Obviously, it might not be the best decision for you business wise to be doing it yourself. Um, Me personally, I like to work on the business and not in the business. So, what you can do, and I encourage people to do, is use an AI dialer that doesn't sound like your prototypical like robot that's like click one if you want this, click two. No, it's not like that. It actually sounds human like and can go through different pathways depending on how the conversation goes. You can qualify them, you can qualify your leads and set them on your appointments, or you can just use a VA. You can use a VA that can contact those leads within 5 minutes. And it's only going to be about $5 an hour, and they're not going to have the super thick accent depending on the location. And yeah, that's something that I encourage. So within 5 minutes, they opt in, they have a phone call, they hear you, you're warming them up, they're trusting you more, they want to do business with you. So that's something that I recommend. And then the last thing that I want to bring up is the database reactivation. So when you're running ads, you're going to have a whole boatload of new leads. Some of them might not be ready today, but that's okay. Well, even if they're not ready today, you still need to be nurturing them. So that's where you need to have like drip campaigns because just because they're not ready today doesn't mean they won't be ready next month. So what I've seen is that if you're able to have different emails and drip sequences, you should convert 3% of your database of people who weren't ready at the moment to convert them later on. So it just takes some time, right? You want to stay top of mind so that when they are ready, they're going to go with you because they trust you. You've been sending them emails, you've been working with them. They want to do it with you now. So that's the whole thing. So this is the solution that we have to qualify your leads, right? It's going to be through an external website. You're not going to be doing it on Facebook and Instagram. That way, you can ask the right questions to make sure that when you're on the phone with somebody, they're qualified, they have intent. Those are two things, very important. So instead of collecting leads through lead forms, you're gonna send your prospects that click on your ad to your own website, something like this, right? Where you can create surveys so you can pre-qualify leads, something like this, right? What kind of home are you looking to buy? And then depending on the type of lead that you're working with, like veteran or whatever, refinance, you can ask specific questions to pre-qualify them. And yeah, and also what you're doing with this is you're adding friction to filter out like people that are low intent because like it's just too easy to just click learn more and then send out all your information. It's too easy. So what we want to do is send them to a new lead, a new website, and like naturally, like people don't want to go through a survey if they're not really interested and they're just like looking for information or whatever, not really ready. But that's something that we can do. That way we have like real high quality prospects and leads. And yeah, and what you can do afterwards is refine your targeting once you get like the data back from these websites in order to improve your ads. So, all right, so the last thing, very important, is optimizing the ad. Like I said, this is one of the most important parts of the whole ad process. All right, so what you want to do with your ad is you have to think about it like a funnel. So at the very top of the funnel, you just want to grab their attention. That's what you want to do. Just because they're scrolling on Facebook, Instagram, you need to get them to stop. So that's something that you can achieve with video or like a really nice high quality image. So let's say you're in Florida and you're looking to sell a house. Well, I would pick a house that is like the most stereotypical Florida house. So this is what I found. If you ever been to like Florida, you'll know what I mean. But this is like a stereotypical Florida home. And yeah, I mean, when somebody's scrolling and they have intent in a new home or whatever, this is something that's gonna catch their eye. That's ideally what you want to do. And then what you want to do afterwards with the copywriting right here is build curiosity. You want to build curiosity and sell the click. You want to sell them on clicking this learn more button. And the best way to do that is to build intrigue and curiosity. So in this situation, I said that most Florida residents are still unaware that they can save big on these mortgage programs. So, I mean, what I'm eliciting right here is the fear of missing out. And, everybody wants to save money, especially on something as big as like a mortgage. So this is something that is going to make them want to click that learn more button so we can collect their information. So that's exactly what you want to do. You want to call out the right people. So obviously it's going to be Florida and build curiosity. Then afterwards, like I said, this is a game of testing. If you're running ads, you have to understand that you're going to be testing continuously. You're not going to get 100% right on the first time. That's not possible. So, like I said, the game of advertising is like 80% testing. And then once you see what works, you double down on that and then you raise budget on that. So that's specifically what we do. So that was the end of this video. I recommend, if you're a mortgage pro, you're looking to grow and actually get your mortgage marketing done, just join our free community. So what we do is we implement AI and marketing strategies for exclusive leads. I'm tired of this mortgage pros just really just, how do I say this? I'm tired of them just being overly reliant on other people in order to scale their business. I want mortgage pros to take on the responsibility in the most important part of their business, which is getting new leads. And so this is something that I want to help you guys implement, and I do it for free. And so I have, you can network and grow with other like-minded mortgage pros. I'm gonna have like workshops and everything. This is free, by the way, and we'll show you how to build these things live, step by step, just to help you guys out. So the link for that is going to be in the description. And if you want us to build everything out for you personally, you can book a call and see how we can help you out. And that's it. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm out.